All set? Okay, good. Thank you all for coming. Sorry for this slight delay. I would like to call the meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. If we could please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Pastor Mike, would you open us in a word of prayer, please?
Good and gracious God, we thank you for, Lord, your benevolent hand upon all things that happen. Lord, we come to you tonight. We, Lord, are thankful for those who have been elected to serve. We'd ask that you would grant them your wisdom and discernment. We'd ask, Lord, that you would be with everyone in the decision-making that may happen tonight or the direction things may go. Ask, Lord, you give us a spirit of collaboration, cooperation, and, Lord, the ability to be empathetic towards the views that may be contrary to our own. I ask that you would have your hand of patience upon tonight, that you would give everybody the ability to understand that, Lord, you are in control of all things and could work all things for the good of those who love you and are called to follow your name. I'd ask that you would just have your hand upon, Lord, all the decision-making, and I'd ask that you would just grant your peace in terms of the conversations and the attitudes of the heart. And I pray this in your name, Jesus. Amen.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, may I have a roll call, please?
Supervisor Christopoulos?
Here.
Trustee Dietz? Here. Trustee Osefsky? Here. Trustee Shepard?
Here. Sorry.
Trustee Strigo? Assessor Bushong? Here. Road Commissioner Hilliard? Here. Collector Michael Flanagan? Here. Clerk Kraft present.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the first item of business, we are starting officially the public hearing. And as I mentioned a moment ago, the public hearing on the budgets, after we close the public hearing on the road district budget and the township budget, will continue on in the agenda with the board's agenda. We'll take discussion, we'll take some questions regarding the budgets in just a moment. The board will also discuss it during the board meeting, and that's when we will vote on it. We're not going to be voting on anything at the public hearing. Okay, so with that, let's open it up to our commissioner, Jim Hilliard. Jim, if you would like to start us off, do you have anything that you'd like to share, some brief comments regarding your budget?
Sorry.
Testing. Okay, good. I'm just going to go over my budget. I'll do the line items that have changed from last year to this year. There's not too many. So on the legal services, it's less $5,000. The reason is I was building the bridge, getting leases or easements for that bridge, so that required more legal services than usual. So that went, last year's $10,000, this year it's $5,000. And then the retirement contributions, that's up $2,000. It was budgeted $20,000 last year, and it was down to $544. So I'm sure that there's going to be an increase with that. So just look for that. Not very much there. Payroll and accounting services. Typically, I didn't do that. Last year, I did do it. This year, I'm not going to do it, I guess, pay for all of it. So as what I discussed with Dean, so it's $8,000 last year, so I'm just going to bring that down to $5,000. So it's a $3,000. And then gravel is $30,000 last year. That's increased to $15,000 increase. So it's $50,000. That has gone up about 13%. And I ran out last year. I had to actually pull off my miscellaneous item to build some roads with gravel. So that's the reason for the increase on that one. Fuel line item, $35,000 last year, increased $5,000 I don't think I have to really explain too much on that one. And we had $4,000 left over from last year, but it's unstable commodity right now, so I'm just planning for that. ComEd, that is for the garage. Last year was $3,000, and this year I increased that to $5,000, so that's a $2,000 increase. And the last one was contractual services material. Last year the budget was $303,561. Increased that by $40,560. The reason I did that is it's just the way I do the budget. Is I look at all of my line items. I try to figure out what I'm going to need, just as anybody would do. And then whatever is left over everything goes to contractual services material. That's what I pave the roads with. That's what I'm trying to do, is just get as much money into that portion of the road district with paving and chip and seal. That's the main bulk of my budget is the road and bridge fund. I have two other funds. There's really not too much to talk about there. That goes to the Joint County Bridge Fund. That mainly I just get money in there. It doesn't really get spent too much. It's kind of a savings account. But since we are building the bridge, I am spending money out of it. It did change a little bit because I had to use some for engineering, but all the engineering work should be done. So I just took all of the money from that, and that's into bridge construction. So it's $635,106 for bridge construction, $50,000 for miscellaneous. The bridge is estimated, I think, at $1.8 million. About with all the money that we're getting for matching funds to the county and the state, I think we have a surplus of money in that account, so that's a good thing. And then the last item is my building and equipment fund. I'm fairly certain the only money that I spent out of that was a loan payment to the township. Before I became the road commissioner, there was a debt for 3 dump trucks I've talked about, and there's $40,000 left in that loan repayment back to the township. Either way, I'm trying to save for a new truck, so I don't really spend any money on that. So this year, I ordered the truck. It takes about a year to get it, and since we've saved for the past 2 years out of it, we should have no problems paying for it. That is my budget. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask.
Any questions for the road district budget? Yes, Tim, if you could go to the microphone, please. Oh, okay. You gonna hand it to him? Yeah. And please state your name for the record.
Good evening. My name is Tim Stout. Thanks for having me. In the budget, how much do you have set aside to fix Offner Road this year? Last year, probably close to a year ago, almost the entire mile showed up here asking for some repairs to be done to Offner. And so with the budget being presented tonight, I thought I would ask if you had that on the agenda tonight, this year. This past year, there was an effort made to put a top coat down. No work was done to the shoulders ahead of time. So I watched a lot of township road money get wasted on grass because within a week, it was gone. So I would really like it to see if you could get Offner Road back onto your priority list on behalf of all the neighbors that live there.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Keep going.
Secondly, if you could give a little more backstory, just for the record, for those that aren't familiar with the history of the loan that took place between the township and the road district and how that all came to be. I think that might help shed a little light too as we transition over to the township budget.
Thank you, Tim. Okay. Whoop.
Okay. All righty. Let me find that sheet I had. It's the contractual services material. That was where I added the $40,000. That's where the money would come out for Offner Road. I did get bids this year for road projects. Right now, Offner Road was not on that bid project, but that doesn't mean I can't get a bid out again. I do realize now the shoulders are bad. I mean, I admit that. We did work on the shoulders before it was chip and sealed, but it's just they're not holding up the way I'd like them to. The road's a narrow road. It's built well. It's just a narrow road. I do want to widen it, Tim. I'm not telling you this just to say it. It's just, if you could come with me one day and I could show you the 70 miles of road in Green Garden Township, I think you'll understand that there's some projects that your project is on the list. It's not a priority on the list. And I'm going to give you one explanation. It was that Pauling Road section of it. It was so bad when it fell apart. If a Honda Civic would have went over it, they would have broke their oil can. It just fell apart that bad. And that's immediate safety. And that's what takes precedence over the upgrading of some roads. So, but yeah, I am watching that. And if there's money left over and I can start on it, but I think the best thing to do with your road is probably to widen it, is what I'd like to do. As far as the loan payment for the trucks, I'm not sure what year it was. I'm not even sure what year I started being a road commissioner. I think it's been about 6 years. I don't think there's any payments ever made, maybe one. And the original debt was $220,000. The previous road commissioner bought 3 2010 Max Force International trucks. So if you know anything about the trucks, it was not a good engine. It was like the Etzel of cars for dump trucks. They kind of cost me a lot of money, and well, Mark, you probably could tell me about it. Like we pushed snow with them, and they actually shut off because they don't have enough power. So it's kind of a thorn in my side. It's hard to build up from that. But anyways, I've been making, I think it was $20,000 a year for 10 years is what the loan payment was supposed to be. It was, I think there's either one payment made or zero. So when I started, I was making double pay, or $30,000 a year to make up for the missed payments, because it has to be done in 10 years. And then this year would be the last one, $40,000. So that's the history with the loans for the dump truck.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Any other questions for the road district budget? Okay, and we'll address that topic as well for the township. Okay, so the township budget, I'll say a few things about it and then open it up for questions. We did ask for a 5% levy, and we received that. So last year's levy was $287,387. This year we were approved for $301,400. So it was approximately $14,000 increase. The total revenue is $883,792. For those who are familiar with last year, that's quite a bit more. And the reason for that is the town hall, part of our revenue is the levy, as I just mentioned, $301,400, but the town hall grant reimbursement. We have every expectation to receive $530,217 from Illinois grant that's through Will County, and that's in the revenue. We wanted to show that as a revenue because we do expect it to come in. We'll see in a moment that we're also seeing it on the expense side for the exact same amount. This way, our residents could see what's happening with that grant. We could see how much is being expended, and we know what will be coming in. Belinda's been doing just a great job communicating with Accenture, and Belinda's in charge of sending in invoices as they come due, she will be making sure that the contractors have all their ducks in a row so that there's certain paperwork that has to be filed. So Belinda's on that, and she's doing, like I said, a really good job with that. Other revenue that you see on the budget is replacement tax, $10,000. That's pretty close to last year. Interest, hall use maintenance, miscellaneous income, farm rental income. We take in $9,575 renting out our land to farm it. And the road district payment that you may see right now on the revenue side, it says $30,000. What that is that is a payment that Commissioner Jim paid the township, but it's from last fiscal year. it came in after our fiscal year ended, which is March 31st. I believe it came in April 13th. So because we're not on an accrual method of accounting, we're on a cash method, we have to record that as income even for this year because it came this year. But that payment's for last year. What we're going to talk about as a board at the board meeting in a few minutes is canceling the last payment of $40,000. We have to take a vote on that. We'll be discussing it as a board. We are very empathetic to the road district. We want to see what's best for our township as a whole, even though technically it's owed to the township. Who needs it more at this point? Many of us believe that the road district does. And so I'm hoping that we vote to cancel that out so that Jim does not have to pay that next year and he could apply that money as he sees fit to other projects that he has. But we'll talk about as a board. I just wanted to kind of explain what that was. That's why it's sitting in this year's budget. As far as expenses, we did raise some things up somewhat significantly. The accounting went up to $25,000. What we're also doing this year is we're paying for the accounting will be paid from the township budget, also for the road district. Previous to this, the road district would pay the accounting, which comes out to, Jim, is it about top $600 a month, I think, something like that. So we're going to be talking about that, and we have an accountant that handles for both the roads and the township. The other item that's in there, you say, wow, $25,000 is a lot of money. Well, the annual financial audit that we're required by statute to file with the Illinois Comptroller's Office, that costs $10,000 a year. We got it last year for $9,500. I think they wanted $12,000. GWA did, and I'll talk a little bit about that during the board meeting as well to give an update on that annual financial report. We had some challenges with that, and I'll explain those. But that's why the accounting went up also. Our accounting is roughly about, I'd say averages at about $1,000 a month, plus the $10,000 that we'll have to pay. Legal services, we went up, and this is not new information. We talked about this 3 months ago or so, and even last month, is $25,000. Liability insurance, and you could look down below there. We lowered the IT license and support and the IT hardware, which I'll talk about when I get to the assessor's budget. We lowered down that license and support because we're no longer, as a township, we pay for it, but we're changing the line items over to the assessor's line items because there are certain payments that we've been paying that are specific to the assessor's office. And from an accounting standpoint, we feel that it's good practice, best practice to have it there, and there's some other advantages to it. And then again, the town hall grant is there. Just trying to see. There are two new line items that we have added this year that we have not had, and that is a newsletter. Our goal is to do, moving forward, our goal is to do a quarterly e-newsletter and 2 mailed twice a year in the mail to every household in Green Garden. Obviously, it's June already, so we're behind the pace here, but just to give you an idea on cost, it's $299 to have someone do. Chris Russell is going to be doing our newsletter, who handles our website. It's $299 per e-newsletter, and then for him to convert that format to a mailer is another $299, plus roughly $1,500 we're guesstimating to literally mail it out, depending on how many pages it ends up being. So the total for this year, we don't expect it to be any higher than $3,000. We do have a $5,000 budget for it. because we're losing some months already. So that's a new line item. Community services is a new line item. We have $4,000 dedicated to community services. If you look on our website, we have several community services. We're just now trying to get those up and running. We've been real busy, as we know, with solar, with the renovation of this building and doing all that. So we do have something in the works that Belinda is looking into, and that is a veterans celebration, correct, Belinda? Yeah. Want to mention anything about it?
We're just moving ahead. We finally were able to contact someone in Will County, and they're going to help us get the names of all the veterans in Green Garden.
Wes, you want to get the microphone?
And then we will plan a small get-together in this building once it's all fixed with the veterans, basically. Monroe wanted this, and this is something that a couple residents had volunteered to do, and myself, and so we'll have Monroe here, and he'll be running the vets party.
Great, thank you. Okay, so the last topic on this budget that I'll share, and then we'll open it up for questions, is the assessor's side of the township budget. The assessor does have their own budget, but it is a township budget. It's in the township's total budget. So again, what we're doing with this is we have a total budget that hasn't changed, and then we put the line items, even as Jim said, where we see fit based on what we feel that the expense is going to be. So the assessor's budget is $50,900. Last year it was $36,000. So one could say, wow, that's almost $15,000 increase, which technically it is. But what we did there was we took, in the new line items, which I'll mention what they are here, the new line items account for over $14,000. So that $14,000, of that $14,000, approximately $12,000, maybe $13,000 the township was paying in our budget, we'll call it. And I hesitate because it's all our budget, it's all the township budget, but it wasn't in the assessor side, it was in the township side. So what we're doing is we're taking those line items and we're moving them over to the assessor. And the assessor will have anywhere from $12,000 to $13,000 of that $14,000 that the office never had to pay for. Here's what they are. We add an appeals line, and maybe in a moment Jane could address this. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jane, on this, but I believe that it's $500 line item. That's for commercial appeals mainly. And Jane could explain it better than I can. If there's a commercial appeal, many times you need some consulting, you need some legal help. So that's what that line is. But the three larger line items are IT license and support, $7,700, IT hardware, $2,500, and telecommunications, $3,420. Those new line items, along with the appeals, add up to $14,120. And as I said, approximately $12,000 to $13,000 is expense that the assessor never had to account for. Again, the reason why we're considering this and we'll be voting on it as a board, the whole budget, and this is part of it, is because now the assessor is going to have the opportunity to secure her own office. I think it's very important that the assessor's office of everything we have in the township, not communicating about the road district, but anything in the township, of all divisions, the assessor needs the most security. She has social security numbers and everything else, right? So the assessor, it's very important. So now Assessor Jane will have the ability, if she has a need, she could take care of it immediately herself based on the budget. Obviously, she can't go over the budget, but she has that. And I'm personally super excited about it because she knows the needs of the assessor's office better than any of us. And I don't want to kind of say it this way, Jane, but we also gave you the responsibility of it, right? So the trustees don't have to sit here and go, oh, what do we need to do for the assessor's office? We don't need that for the township, so we just thought it'd be best to move those line items over. Now, we still have some IT license and support and hardware and telecommunications, but it's less than it was. And again, the difference is about 12. So, pardon me?
That'll change as well.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah, you could give a report on that. We have some immediate needs for the township under IT hardware especially, so that we could get live stream and all that. And, we've been borrowing a lot of the church's equipment to this point. Okay, so I think that's it. I thought there was something else I wanted to share, but let's open it up for questions. If you have a question, if you could please raise your hand and I'll call on you and ask you to come forward and state your name and ask your question, please. Yes, Mr. Timms.
Sure, thanks. Name again?
Tim
You got
Staub.
that right, Chrissy? Thank you. Dean, you brought something up, and thank you for that rundown. That was helpful. I guess I want to dig into a little bit, if you can give some more background on this agenda item that you mentioned tonight of voting to basically let the road district out of paying the remainder of that loan. Is that right?
That is right, yes.
What Illinois statute allows for that? Because from my recollection and previous time spent here with the previous board, that came to light that money was transferred to the road district, and that was an illegal transfer. And to make up for that, to make it legal, it was then, after the fact, called a loan, where the loan payments were structured to be paid off within the statute time. So statute, you're saying that statute allows a trustee vote to move township money to the road district?
Well, that is a good question, Tim. And what we'll do is we'll find that out for sure. I'm not an attorney. We'll check with our township attorney to see if we have the authority to do that. There's no big rush on this because it's already in the road district's budget to pay it. It's not ours to even concern ourselves with at this point, so because it'll show up on next year's budget. So we will check with the township attorney, we'll check the statute, and if we find that we don't have the authority to do that, because we don't even have to vote on it today, we just don't. But we wanted to bring it up and talk about it. Our kind of opinion is we want to help out that road district. We think that'll be in the best interest of the township as a whole, because we don't have that money sitting in our account right now. Jim does. And to your point earlier, it just so happens that there's projects out there that need attention, and Jim could, at his discretion, use that money for the betterment of the roads. So we're willing as a township, I think, to go with that. But we will check the statute, we'll check with the attorney. If we find out we do not have that authority, then what we will have to do, we'll have to call a special meeting of the electorate, and we'll take it to a vote. Because I'm certain the electorate has the power to do that.
I'm not sure, because it's taxation. It's two separate taxing bodies, no different than this one and the school district. So moving money between taxing bodies is highly, highly governed. So I would very much say it would probably be advisable to table that vote today.
Yeah.
And
I
work
agree.
with the attorney to make sure that that's something that you can do.
I agree.
Additionally, I guess I would not disagree. I would think that he probably needs money, more so than the township itself needs money, which I would support. From my recollection, and I didn't peruse the budget, we have a surplus sitting somewhere that we parked somewhere, again, from history here. So we parked a surplus of money, and yet we continue to increase that levy by the max allowed of 5% or CPI. So what you're saying is that the road district needs the money, but yet you continue to push that limit higher and higher and higher, even though we have a surplus sitting. So what might be fiscally responsible to come to the people of Green Garden with is somehow finding a way to roll that tax rate back down in tandem and tied to perhaps coming to a ballot to increase revenue over to the road district. I think the people of the township might agree that the roads could use some more funding, but we'd also, at least I won't speak for we, I'll speak for I, don't want to keep padding a bank account that's already padded with a surplus when we have a need showing itself over here. So just something,
Are those two levies different? The township and the road district are different levies?
two different levies, yes.
So he would levy for his and the township levies. Yeah, I understand. Thank you for your comment. If I could, just to, not that it's not a lot of money, and I appreciate what you're saying. The levy was raised about $14,000. And we have $9,000 of new line items between the community services, the newsletter that people ask for. So we've got some reason to have it, the cost of living, as you pointed out. But just so we know how much we're talking, and again, I'm not belittling an amount, but if we have 1,400 homes in the township, which I believe we have more than that, but to keep the numbers simple, if we have 1,400 homes and you divide that by the $14,000 increased levy, it's $10 a household. So I'm not saying that's nothing, but that's the reality. It's $10 a household. But thanks for bringing it up, Tim, and I appreciate you bringing up the statute for the vote. Any other comments, please, on the township budget? Okay, so if there's no other comments, we want to close the public hearing and move into the board meeting. I'm asking the board for a motion to close the public hearing. Motion by Trustee West. Do we have a second to the motion? Second. Seconded by Ralph Dietz. Any other discussion by the board? We're ready for the vote? Okay, all those in favor? This is just to close the meeting. This is just to close the meeting. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you so much. So that does conclude our public hearing. We'll move right into the board meeting. And the next item, or the first item on our agenda, is the motion to approve the minutes from the May 11th, 2026 board meeting as submitted. Do we have a motion for that? Motion by Wes. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Trustee Ralph Dietz. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion is approved. The next item on the agenda is the motion to approve the township financial report as submitted. Do we have a motion from one of the board members for that? Motion by Wes. It's your night tonight, Wes. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ralph Dietz. Is there any discussion? I sense some hesitation. We know any discussion by the board regarding the financial report?
I got none.
Okay.
Did we straighten all those items out that we were talking about?
Yes. Yes, we
So
did.
Like, under, and one of my things here, under the road and bridge, it has a total expense of thanks a lot. Under the road and bridge, it has a total expense of $125,362.33. And the assessor has a item right above that that says total 20-540 accessor expenses of 56 and a quarter.
$56?
And a quarter, and it's, I think that mentions it as something about the vedette. What's that doing in the road district budget?
That was correct.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
Okay. So the accountant, what happened was is I had put the road bids in, when I put the road bids in, I type it all up, send it to the vedette for a public bidding. When the accountant entered it in, she has whatever, like certain items go under an automatic, like bucket, whatever the number is. So the vedette went in, because I guess Jane must use the vedette for a lot of things, so it just went under her number, but it actually came out of my account, so that will have to be corrected for, on her side, but the money is coming out of my account,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah, so the accountant's aware of it and going to take care of that.
Okay, and then under total expense, it says, it has the 125,000. It says net ordinary income, it's minus 26,334.92. And then right below that, it says net income minus 26,334.92. Is that some sort of new accounting procedure?
No, what that is, because we're working off of last year's fiscal budget. We're not working off of this year's fiscal until we vote on it tonight. Once we vote on it, then we will take all the revenue and expense line items and update the last 2 months.
Okay.
So QuickBooks is just shooting it out that way because all we're looking at, we're not looking at the whole picture because of that. It's very awkward. That's why we were hoping not to go into the following month. Well, we not only did that, we went into 2 months. So for different reasons, I'm not saying it's wrong. We have statutorily, we have till June to do it. So that's why that's like that.
Okay.
So that'll take care of itself.
Then under Green Garden Township, property and loss by class, the top line says total 2,000 dash town. And under line, it says total 20-540, 20-5400 assessor expenses, $6,036.40. Right below that, it says 20-5401, real estate taxes, $667.97. Now that, even though it starts off with a 20, that's not an assessor expense, right?
I never see these. You guys are the ones to see these, though.
Well, I'm not talking
I have no
about-
idea what you're doing.
Yeah,
I'm talking-
that's okay.
So that's, it's part of the town, but it's, is it in the wrong place, or is the category wrong?
The real estate taxes, 20-5401 is showing at 667.97. Yeah, the taxes should be under, yeah, it should be under the town, I believe. That's not an expense of the assessor's office. So I'll make a note of that, Ralph.
Okay, just for grins.
Yeah, I think that, we'll take a look at that.
And then,
It looks like it's it's probably one of the payments we recently made to the, for the land that the township owns.
it's just, the assessor line item throws it off.
Okay.
And also.
Yeah, we don't want to charge the assessor, that expense, right, Jane?
That's why I should do my own reconciliation.
Okay, well, we'll be reconciled after we vote on the budget, so we'll be doing good. In the next couple days, we'll have that.
Okay, do you have an invoice on the check for the, jeepers, where is it? Well, legal for the 1974-75?
Yes. Yes,
Can we
they
get a-
came in late. It
Okay.
was emailed to my personal email. Yeah, it came in late, and so when
We'll get that eventually, yeah.
did I send that just to you, Linda? Did you get it? I thought I sent it to all three of you guys. This
Yeah,
came in like
it was-
a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to have Ansel Glink waiting for $1,900, so I called and got it paid for.
Okay.
So I actually think I have the invoices here with me for that somewhere, but I could show them to you. Yeah, that was, yeah, I'm almost certain I have them in my file here somewhere. But I do have them, and I thought I emailed them. Go ahead, Melinda. Yeah, we have the vouchers, but
I
yeah.
had questioned
He's-
why
he's
we
asking for
hadn't
the
gotten an
invoice.
attorney bill for 2 months. And that's when you went back and asked the attorney if they sent us any bills, and we got them late today. So I
Correct.
questioned why there was no attorney bills for 2 months, and Dean was able to get them this afternoon, and he sent them to me.
Correct.
Thank you.
Correct. It'd be nice not to have attorney bills for 2 months. Okay, anything else? All right, so we have a motion, but we need to reference 20-5401, the real estate taxes for $667.97. We'll look into classifying that. If that is the problem, we'll check into that. So with that, do we have a motion to approve the Township financial report, but with the, yeah, but it's kind of like a new motion now because we do have to check into that.
Yeah. Motion with the,
You're gonna amend the motion? Okay. So a motion's been made to accept to approve the financial report with the understanding that we're gonna look into 20-5401 for $667.97. That's appearing on the assessor's expense. Do we have a second to the motion? Second by Ralph. You're amending it to he's amending it to be consistent with Wes's motion. Okay, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, it is approved. All right, next item on our board agenda is unfinished business, so I would ask Mr. Jeff Becker to give us an update on the solar facilities, please. We're not going to take questions in this topic. If you have questions for Jeff, please feel free to reach out to him.
So we had the vote for the solar at the county board. It was 12-8. It was pretty much on party lines. One Republican voted against it, or voted for Earthrise. The rest were the 11 Democrats, basically. Dan Butler was there. He did an absolutely fabulous job in representing us. It was absolutely wonderful. So that was a highlight, basically. Dean spoke, a number of other residents spoke, and that really went well. A lot of the Democrats said they didn't want to vote for it, but they believed that they had to, from what they were told from the state's attorney's office. So that was a problem. The state's attorney, they fought us initially even to get the cross-examination. We did the cross-examination. We got evidence that the application was incomplete, particularly on the arrays. And yet, the land use department, that then questions were asked by Mr. Butler and several of the other Republicans, went ahead and reverted back to the old number of arrays that in cross-examination we were able to show was not the actual number of arrays. So there will be a lawsuit. So that's what's going to come forward now. But I just really did want to say that Dan Butler did an outstanding job. Our other representative was Sherry Newquist. She went ahead and she voted for Earthrise, which we are very, very disappointed in. We had a number of residents who spoke personally with her, and she still went ahead and voted for it. So just keep that in mind when, the next voting cycle comes up, which is what I had mentioned to her. It really went on party lines. It was really disappointing because a number of the Democrats who had voted against it voted against the Earthrise, 6,000 acre proposal in committees, reversed their vote, switched over, and when it came time to actually vote in the Will County Board, they voted for it. That was super disappointing. But we did have really good representation. Dan Butler, Judy O'Gala, she was great. Frankie Pretzel was great. Jim Richmond was great. A lot of the people really came to fight for us, and that was wonderful to see. So again, it was really disappointing with the pretty much what the state's attorney did is they just kept kicking the can over to land use. And land use went ahead and said, well, we think that it's a concept site plan, and we're going to let Earthrise do everything in the down the road, but we're not going to have them do it. The problem is the statute itself said many of these things must be included in the preliminary plat, and they were not included. So that'll be part of the lawsuit, as well as a lot of the constitutional issues, which there are a number of, including the non-contiguous, contiguous. So Earthrise in 2022, in their project narrative, they went and they said that they went to someone in Will County. We asked in cross-examination who they went to, and their representative, Rob Calbooth, said he wasn't on the project and he didn't know who they went. That was in 2022. In 2023, Will County changed the law to you had to have contiguous properties, so right next to each other, to non-contiguous, which is why we got this span across Wilton Center, Manhattan Township, and Green Garden. So that law will be, we believe that law is also unconstitutional, and that will be brought up in the lawsuit. So we had a lot of wonderful residents that came out. That was absolutely fabulous to see. We had, people that really spoke from the heart and really tried to protect our community. So the next process is going to be the lawsuit, which my brother and I have already started on, and that will move forward. A number of residents said it's not fair really for our family have to take all the costs for it. So a lot of people, I think they're going to probably do a GoFundMe page. So some of the residents want to do that to try to cover some of the costs. There's just the financial cost of appearances. There's a lot of, it's very, very costly. And so, but anyway, some of the residents want to do that. It's not coming from Green Garden. It's actually directly coming from some of the residents. And so they're probably going to do a GoFundMe page so that we have, money and that our family doesn't have to do all of it. I think the view was we pretty much had everyone working against us beyond basically our Republican board members. So the state's attorney was working against us, land use was clearly working against us, and we were surprised with the state's attorney as well, just because they went ahead and they fought for us. They, blocked us initially from getting cross-examination, and then they went ahead, and then when we brought it up to get the temporary restraining order, they fought that and tried to have our lawsuit dismissed, of course, which we won. So that was interesting to see, and, there's been a lot of talk about the state's attorney saying that they didn't want to have to deal with this, to force the residents to go ahead and, make a constitutional objection on it, because they didn't want to really be involved. And that was really unfortunate because, I see them as they should be representing us, because we're paying for their salaries. Anyway, that's pretty much an update, and if anyone did have any other quick questions I could answer, Dean, but
Yeah.
I don't know if you have time.
Yeah, go ahead, just a few though, because,
Just a couple, if anyone had a question.
I have two questions.
Sure.
Does Earthrise still get to, while we're doing all the legal stuff, does this get to start digging and building those?
They have to get the building permits for that, but they are out there. We know they were doing an archaeological study already. We know that they were already doing drain tile studies. Some of those that I know Judy O'Gala, she already called land use to say, do they even have the proper permits for that? But they are already trying to start the project. So in the lawsuit, there'll likely be an injunction to stop it until it gets approved on the constitutional grounds.
So they have to take a while, but we can still do that and do all this.
They can start the things, but they don't have the building permits yet to do, because they didn't get it through the road commissioners, which is an issue that our rep, Dan Butler, brought up, that they just sent letters to the road commissioners. The road commissioners were all complaining, saying, like, the roads in Wilton Center, they're all gravel. What is the weight that's going to be on our roads? Are you going to destroy the roads, and how much are you going to pay? So there's a lot of issues on that. There's still the issues with the short-eared owl, which was, is an endangered species, and did they properly do that? Did they properly do the archaeological? So there could be a bunch of permits they're gonna have to get, and likely, land use will be a little more careful now with all the opposition they've had.
I know we're really busy with the solar, but where do we stand with the incorporation?
So we're waiting, we're probably gonna first focus on this, and then we'll go, and then we may decide on that later on. Yep. Mark.
Ours is real early days, everybody else building contracts, that you get your tradition out there so the public awareness of it. I mean, this is small. So people-
Right, right.
So we need to make sure that happens. So that constitutionality is really part of that lawsuit.
That's-
If it's not, you're gonna have to.
No, and that's the biggest part of it, and this really will affect all the solar cases. It really, the constitutionality, they took away the LaSalle factors.
Get more awareness out there. It doesn't have to be local, it can be statewide.
It can be, exactly.
Or you can contact everyone.
Yeah, and we've already had people contact us, a bunch of other people from other solar projects saying, can we join? So, yeah. Good? Yeah, Dan.
Excuse me one second. Mark, what's your last name?
My name's John.
I mean, John, what's your last name?
Trico.
For the record. Okay.
So just to be clear, the state attorney deferred to the land use for
Correct,
expertise.
right.
And the land use didn't deny, didn't know that was
Can you
finished.
give them the mic,
They
please?
just said that it would be done before construction started.
Right.
So what's wrong with that is that in order to get a special use permit, your elected officials need to have that information before they vote on it. So what they did was they kicked it down the road, and did it in full hearing, at the board meeting. And so we didn't have a finished application to vote on, but we were required to vote on it anyway. And then what'll happen is, people that we did not elect will make those decisions. And we'll never know who they are, when those decisions are made, or what was taken into consideration when that permit was issued. That is the big deal.
Yep. And like for the farm wetlands, who's gonna watch on that? Who's gonna, a lot of the other issues, who's gonna be watching from an engineer in land use who are just pushing this all through? It's not gonna happen. Yeah. It was already
Okay,
voted, it
thank
was
you.
already voted on.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yep.
If there's any other questions, we could address it afterwards. Is that okay? Okay, thank you. Thank you for the update. And as always, thank you for the great work that your committee has done. Your attorney brother, Steve, did a great job. Dan did an awesome job. We've got a lot to be proud of in how we handled all this, and we'll keep it going. Okay, next item is a update on the town hall renovation project. Just a quick update. Where we're at with that is the septic contractor sent in the permit application to the Illinois EPA, which normally takes 2 months, up to 3 months, we were told. That was unacceptable because once it goes to the Illinois EPA, it gets approved, then it's got to go to Will County Health Department to get approved, then it goes to the permit, so that we could start the work. So we sent a letter to Executive Jennifer, who really helped us out a lot. She had her chief chief of staff, Mike Monahan, is that his name, Monahan? What's that? Mahoney? Mahoney, okay. So Mike was in Springfield. He spoke to the Illinois EPA and asked them if they could please expedite it, which they did. We just, on Friday, got what's called a 14-day letter from the Illinois EPA with saying that they are going to approve it within 14 days. I'm not sure why that 14 days is in there, but it's just the way it is. And so our septic contractor took that letter and sent it into Will County's Health Department. We paid for the permit for that, which was about $800, $800 and some dollars today. And we sent another letter to Jennifer thanking her for her help and asking her to please do the same thing for us with the Will County Health Department so that we could keep the ball rolling, expedite it, and get it to the permit. So we are delayed. Speaking to the Reed Construction, he is still confident that this project could be done on time. Now our goal is to start in July.
There'll be no more meetings here.
Yeah, thank you, yes. There's no other meetings here. We're going to be meeting at the, what do they call that again? German Heritage Center, just kitty corner here. That's where the meetings will be while the construction takes
I'll
place.
update it on Facebook too.
Okay?
But that's where it'll be, starting next month.
Okay, our next item of business is new business. If and when we do take a vote, the public will have opportunity to comment for 1 minute, specifically before we vote on that one item only. The annual financial report, I wanted to put this on here because there was a resident that asked about the annual financial report. We as a township are required, and the road district, to send in an annual financial report. We have an auditing firm that does that, obviously, on our behalf. It's quite involved. Takes a long time to gather all the information. GWA is the one that does that. That's, earlier I mentioned, we paid $9,500 for that. So that's what that is. It's the audit, the yearly audit, the financial report. That report was due on September 30th. It was not filed on September 30th. We asked for an extension through November. It was not filed in November. It was completed January 30th, 2026. The Illinois Comptroller's Office has it on their website. I spoke to the Illinois Comptroller's Office. They're good with everything. We're fine. Maybe there's going to be a fee. Statutorily, they could charge us, I think it's something like $5 per day, up to 15 days, and then it goes up a little bit over that. So we'll see. She told me that chances are you won't even get a fee. But we'll see. And it's not her department. It goes somewhere else. It could be months. It could be never. She says their main goal is just to have us get it in. So if we want to come up with a justifiable reason, which I believe we absolutely do have, is a couple months in the previous administration, we're certainly not blaming them, but that was we took office after that. So we had, as a township, as many of you know, we had a computer with a custom financial program that one of the trustees created long ago, and it served our township very well for many years. It crashed. So we have a new board, it crashes. We're trying to we can't find any of these financial documents on this. So we worked real hard, the accountant got involved. We did a lot of different things to try to find it. We ended up finding all of it to satisfy GWA because they're the audit people and they want what they want. We ended up finding it months later. We had to dig through a bunch of physical files to get all this. And by the time we got it, GWA sent over scores of questions and things we had to fill out and all kinds of stuff. Long story short, it just took long. GWA got busy, they had other extensions to work on, and it just got in late. So, but a resident did ask about it, a resident FOIA'd it, and asked for all communication from the supervisor, which I provided through our FOIA officer, Belinda, who again does a great job in the FOIA department. She handles all that. It's a big task, really a big task. And we really appreciate all your work on this, Belinda, and I'm not just saying that, I really do, because I know what it is to get all that stuff. Why? One reason I know is because she sent this over my way because I had 91 emails that I had to gather amongst some other things to satisfy this FOIA. And we just did that today. This was the 5th day. We could have asked for an extension, but we just wanted to get it behind us. Okay, so just wanted to give you a report on that. The next item on the agenda is the road district loan payment. We had some discussion on it already. I agree that we should table any vote on that. We have plenty of time to discuss it, and we'll check on the statute. We'll check with the township attorney. We'll see what our options are with that. If the board would like, I'd appreciate if you give a view on it as far as do we want to, if we have the power to do this, do we want to do this and give that, let the township, not let the road district retain that money instead of giving it to the township. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'll just say I totally agree. I think we should be giving it to them. It's not like it's taking more money out, it's just taking the money out of our budget and, in a way, we don't need that money as much as the road district does, just like gentleman over here said earlier.
Okay.
So it's one last payment. It's not like we're, just doing it all for free, so.
It would show up in next year's budget,
Next
so we wouldn't have that $40,000.
Right, that's
Obviously,
what I
as
was-
part of our revenue. Ralph or Belinda?
That is the last payment, Dean, just so you know.
It
And
is.
that the residents know
Yes.
out there. I have to commend Jim because when he came in, none of those payments were made. And he increased their payment $10,000 a year so that he can make those payments and make it on time. He is concerned about that because I've had discussions with him. There was two options that he asked us to help him with. He has trucks that are falling apart, that as he says it, he makeshifts putting them together, welding them. The guys have really done a good job keeping them running, and he needs the new truck. So it's a point of either we help him finance a portion of his truck, which he mentioned to us, or get rid of the last payment so that he can pay for that new truck completely. So I'm not against looking at that and doing that, so thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm in agreement. I think Jim deserves the money for the budget. That's about the only thing the township actually offers is decent roads, so.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of need in the road district budget for Jim to do all these things. He's done the best he possibly could with what he's got to work with. So the board seems to be obviously in favor of this. And again, we'll see what kind of authority we really have regarding this.
Are you going to take a vote?
No, we're not, we're tabling the vote. We're not voting. We're not voting.
To your point.
Tim, Tim,
You don't need the money.
Tim, excuse me.
No, it's-
Could you wait till public comments? Yeah. So, yeah, this is just, we're tabling the vote. We're going to check into the authority that we have. Yes, Belinda?
I'd like to make a motion to table this until next month and bring it back. So I'll make a motion to table it.
So you're just going to make a motion to table it because we do have to look at the legalities of it before we bring it to a vote.
Correct.
Okay.
I'll
All
second
right.
that.
Motion's been made by Belinda, seconded by Wes. All those in favor, say aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, motion's carried. Thank you very much.
Which one? Postpone. Okay, go.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is the road the road district budget and appropriation ordinance 26-002. We had a public hearing an hour ago or so regarding this. And so this is opportunity for the board to discuss the road district budget first, and then we'll move on to the township budget. And then we'll be looking to vote on these two items. So is there any discussion from the board? Any other comments that we want to make regarding the road district budget? Okay, if there's no discussion, could we ask for a motion to approve the road district budget and appropriation ordinance 26-002?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Ralph. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Wes Shepherd. Before we take a vote, this is opportunity for the residents to have a 1-minute comment regarding this specific topic. Is there anyone who'd like to make a comment? If you would, please, if you'd raise your hand and come to the front. Anybody? Okay, there's no comments by the public. Is there further discussion by the board? Are we ready to take a vote on this motion? Yes. Motion has been made, it's been seconded. We're asked for a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Dietz.
Yes.
Trustee Shepherd.
Yes.
Trustee Orzechowski.
Yes.
Supervisor Christopoulos.
Yes. Motion has been carried and approved, which brings us to the township budget and ordinance, appropriation ordinance 26-001. We'll open it up for discussion after we ask for a motion. Do we have a motion to approve the township budget and appropriation ordinance 26-001? Motion by Wes Shepherd. Do we have a second? I'll second the motion. So we have a motion, we have a second. I'd like to open it up for discussion from the board. Any comments or concerns that you may have?
That's okay. Go ahead.
I have like a commentary, I guess. It's my notes as to what's going on. There's been some different views around. So prior to May 11th, 2026, Green Garden Township monthly meeting, the trustees were notified by the township supervisor that if we had any questions regarding the assessor's budget, to put them in writing and submit them to her. I complied with the directive and submitted 12 questions. On May 1st, 2026, I received a reply from the assessor, but it sounded more like the township attorney. So at about the same time, I had a resident contact me regarding some commercial and industrial properties. Upon some investigation on my part, I decided to ask some more questions, but this time I went to the source. I contacted my Will County representative, Dan Butler, to see if he could get me an appointment with Dale Butala, the Will County SOA, as I had some assessment questions. Dan set up a date for May 14th, 2026 at 2 p.m. at the offices of SOA in Joliet. The meeting was comprised of Dan, Dale, and me. I previously had forwarded to Dale 12 PIN numbers of some properties in question. I also brought some documents passed out by our assessor at multiple township meetings. We discussed some of those. I asked Dale about the SA factor on the top line of the tax bills, as it appears to raise the EAV. He replied that it's his. He replied that for the last 30 years, the state equalizer has been 1.0, and his predecessors and him have used the SA factor to keep the state from raising their equalizer across the board. He went out and retrieved 4 documents. 3 were the SA factors for the 3 years, 2023, 2024, and 2025, listing 24 townships in Will County and their individual rates and what properties it affected. Also, he gave me a copy of the 2023 general assessment year, which is evidently the quad year for 2023. Townships listed and divided into 2 categories. The left side was commercial and industrial, the right side is residential. Then it's subdivided into 3 columns entitled total commercial and industrial parcels, commercial and industrial parcels revalued, and percent revalued. The right side is similar, but it's residential. At the bottom are the column totals. After receiving a lot of information in an hour, we left. Thanking Dale, his final reply was, "If I can be of any more additional help, please do not hesitate to reach out." On May 25th, 2026, I sent a follow-up email with 5 more questions. First one is SA factor use. SA factor being applied to commercial and industrial. Notice regarding farm assessments, assessors and ethics, and assessor's budget request of 33.33%. After reviewing the commercial and industrial properties on GIS and their taxes have been going down for the past 5 years because their EAVs have stayed the same. But our residential properties have been going up based on the SA factor being applied to land and buildings only. Something isn't right. Why hasn't the SA factor been applied to commercial? Dale said it's optional. It's up to the individual assessors. He said to date he has not received any request to apply it to any commercial or industrial in Green Garden. Now, since Dale has given me a copy of the 2023 quad-year report, I have in my possession a baseline to compare it to the 2027 quad-year report and see if any numbers will improve. Because as far as I'm concerned, 1/4 of the townships of Will County are doing their job. And I won't go on to personal comments, so.
Okay, a resident asked me questions regarding staffing, so I will clarify what I can. At the last meeting, the assessor stated there was only one employee. That is not true. I listened to the tape twice. There is a deputy assessor and 4 other paid employees. All are part-time, and I just wanted to clear that up for the resident who asked me and get it on the record. Then, on May 23rd, 2026, the trustees received a memorandum from the township assessor. I would like to take a few minutes to discuss this. In the second paragraph, the assessor previously proposed budget was not discussed at the May 11th meeting. It is necessary to provide an update operational necessary budget to all trustees in advance of the June 8th vote. This is what she wrote in the second paragraph. The May 11th, 2026 minutes, which we just approved tonight, starting on page 3 and ending on page 4, we discussed the entire assessor's budget, and that's the truth. The next topic that she talked about was recommended trustee education. After talking with our attorney, I found out she was given the incorrect information about the current trustees. We have done a lot of research regarding the entire township budget. It is not up to the assessor to recommend that we get educated on her budget. Accounting irregularities was another topic. Your staff line expenditures. When the assessor recommended us to get training, you are the one who needs training on how to make a budget, how to use a budget, and most importantly, how to keep track of a budget. Clarification regarding trustees' oversight was another. I know for a fact that we approve your budget items each month after we have reviewed your submissions. I have been told from the beginning of my time of attending Green Garden Township meetings that no trustee could touch what you do with the assessor's budget. But if you want validation that we look at these expenditures, I will be more than happy to do that starting with tonight. Operational role of the assessor's office. In your May 11, 2026 email to all the trustees, you stated, as discussed previously, statutory, the trustees do not have the authority to determine what or how staffing needs are established since they are not qualified or experienced. We are not asking for a reduction in staff, even though you received $12,600 from the previous budget, which was supposed to be a one-time temporary funding and be reviewed in 1 year, and it wasn't. It automatically got put on the assessor's budget as if the trustees owed that to the assessor's department. Submission of
Really?
final budgets. There has been, who said really?
Me?
Oh,
I didn't
We-
think that.
why did it get put on there? We are not asking for a reduction in staff, even though you received $12,600 from the previous budget, which was supposed to be a one-time, I think I read that. It automatically got put in, okay. Submission of final FY 26 budgets to the trustee. There has been several budgets submitted to us. The one that is posted in the foyer is $45,000. There was a $48,000 submission. There was a $50,900 submission. There was a $58,120 submission. I had asked for a 5% increase, just like we gave the road district, would have been a $37,170, which included the $12,600 increase for salaries. Also, at the last meeting, you stated I went through the one employee, sorry, I don't want to repeat that. The last 4 years of budget, in 26-25, it was $36,000. There was $7,964 remaining. In the 25-24 fiscal year, it was $34,600, left over $1,184.95. In the 24-23 budget, it was $36,700. Left over was only $329.60. In the 23-22 budget year, the budget was $40,200. Left over was $7,119.73. In my opinion, this is a poor use of the budget money. There should never be that kind of money left over, and then you ask for more. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for your comment. I want to give Wes, I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
And then Wes.
I'm gonna be quick. I don't have anything written down.
Can you keep that close?
Yeah, so I'm in charge of IT, and when we first started, I was really looking into the IT of whether or not we need it. We don't have anything. Right now, we have an email service through the guy who runs our website. I talked to different IT companies, and they were just a little too expensive for what I thought we needed. But the more I looked into it, I realized that us as a board, we don't have too many IT needs. But as far as Jane's office, the assessor's office goes, she has tons of IT needs. I mean, she has her own server, which that needs protection. She has multiple computers, and she has the most data and pertinent information than any other official up here. So if anybody needs IT, I know it was her. I was originally trying to get a one-size-fits-all. I was thinking if we're going to pay for her, might as well get protection for the rest of us. Now, going forward, we're planning on switching to Outlook, which should give us protection across our emails. It'll give us also, they do a lot of government. I don't know what Will County uses, Outlook or not. Yeah, they're very good. They got their own protection, and there's security that comes along with Outlook. And for us, at least for the board, that's all we really need. We don't need to pay for, we don't need a bunch of firewalls and stuff on computers because we don't really have them. We just work with email. Jane, on the other hand, she has the multiple computers, servers, and information that does need protection. And she's obligated on being an elected official to make sure that she gets that protection. So most of what the increase is, and I know everybody's got an opinion on this. I'm just giving you mine. Most of the increase is for the sake of paying for IT. So, and I think I highly recommend it that she does get it. Now, from what the estimates I was getting, I don't think there's still enough for her to get a full-on contract. Maybe that was just because it was, the price that I originally got was because there's more people involved, but she should have enough to at least get the protection or the help that she needs to secure the protection. So most of the increase is solely for IT. We're not changing our staff, we're not changing anything really else. So I'm just.
Yes, thank you. Is that it, Wes?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, I'll go ahead and make a few comments, and then Jane, I would ask if you want to address some of these concerns that were made. But a couple things I wanted to address was, and I kind of said some of these already, that I just think it's statutorily, in speaking to the township attorney, she agrees that the assessor needs to have control of the IT in her office. I also think it's good accounting practice that those line items are transferred over to her. So as Wes just said, and I said earlier, about 12,000 of that 14,000 increase, it's a $15,000 increase. About $12,000 to $13,000 of that is because we're moving those expenses over to the assessor side. So although it may appear that it's increasing substantially, it's not, because she's also responsible to pay for those out of her budget. And again, I just think it makes good sense that the person that is responsible to secure the office of the assessor should have that authority. I also want to point out to the board that the assessor's budget of $50,920 is 15.7% of the total budget. And I'll say this, the little research that I did do, it seems that if you look into it, assessor's budgets, depending on what you're putting into it, is anywhere from 20% to 40% of a township's budget. It depends on a lot of things, and that's a big range. So what I did was I divided it out. 50,920 divided by the township budget comes out to 15.7%. But I also added in the rent and the assessor's salary, which many of these, I'll wait.
Well, you're using the wrong amount. You're saying 50,920, right? 50,900.
Right? Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, 50,920?
No, I don't have it.
900, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm looking at my notes here. We took $20 away from the budget. So 50,900. So when I divided that out, it came to 15.7%. But if you took the total expense of the assessor's office, which is rent, even the assessor's salary, which I was about to say is not necessarily included in her budget, the assessor's salary is $32,000. It comes out to $95,500. If you divide that number out, it's 29.5%. And the research that I did, 20 to 40%, depending on what you put in there, is very, very typical. So in my mind, I say the assessor office is not asking for a lot of increase at all. She's not asking for an excessive amount. As a matter of fact, if you take out those line items that you mentioned, Wes, those IT line items, it's about $2,000 extra in the assessor's budget. Now, I do realize that the $12,600 that was approved last year for staff is also in there. What was left unexpended was about $7,700. And there are a couple good reasons for that. The money came a little bit late. I believe it came in September, if I'm not mistaken, maybe August. It's hard to find help. And the bottom line is the assessor is going into, and Jane, maybe I should let you in a moment address this, but you're going into a quad year. You need more staff, not less staff. So the staff stayed the same. The staff is at 28,100. It was not increased over last year, yet we're going into a quad year, which demands more time in the assessor's office. So that's it. So to me, it's a couple $1,000s. The road district asked for a 5% levy increase. We approved it. The township asked for 5% levy increase. We approved it. The assessors comes out to about 5%, which is, I think, is $1,800 over the $36,000, plus the additional line item expenses. So I have absolutely no problem with this budget. I think that it's very important to give the assessor of our township what the assessor says that she needs. So Jane, could I ask you, you want to address some of these?
Yes,
Okay, thank you. And then please grab that mic.
First of all, let me start by, I'm going to address this specifically towards Ralph, Belinda, and Dan Butler. I will not engage in personal and accusatory dialogue here. I'm not going to do it. It's unnecessary. Many of the statements, I have not been provided half of what you said, either one of you, which I could easily respond to. Most of it is inaccurate, including some information you mentioned regarding the SOA. I'm sure the SOA, I would guess, had assumed that being professionals, you would come back to your assessor for any clarification on any questions you had, but you have never presented me any of this information that you went statutorily against me directly to the SOA, including the board member went statutorily against this illegally. Again, many of the statements are inaccurate, are totally false, but you've never given me the chance to address them. I did address everything you sent to me previously, and I did it as clearly and carefully as I could, shared that information with the attorney. The attorney was was okay with everything. On top of it, and I'm not going to, I could individually, but I'm not going to beat this back and forth. I want to be presented questions or concerns in writing, and I will address them as such. I will post them for public knowledge. I have no problem. But you're the one who's being anti-transparent. You are not even allowing me to respond to anything. You're just making random accusations. This has become a witch hunt. The board also the board's authority is limiting to approving the overall budget, not assessment operations. They cannot interfere with assessment operations. I welcome everybody to please, I'm sure there's extra copies in the back of the room. If you have not received one yet, please pick it up. The last 2 pages have clearly stated anti-interference statutes in the Illinois Property Tax Code, which our board member also has to follow. Almost every one of those statutes have been violated this month. So there's clearly, it is unlawful, I'm going to read this. Illinois townships operate under Dillon's law. Township boards have only the power expressly granted by statute. Because no statute grants township boards authority over assessments, any attempt to interference is unlawful. There's statutes that hold this out, and that's all I'm going to say. I will tell you this, that since this is continued, it's just a constant badgering. I apologize to the public. I am always available to you. You just need to pick up the phone or email me, but I will no longer be attending public meetings here. I'm not required to by law. All I do is get badgered by those 2 trustees, and I thank Wes and I thank Dean for being open-minded and listening to me, and I guess that's all I have to say unless there's further attacks.
Okay, thank you, Jane. Excuse me, you gotta wait for public comment, Dan, I'm sorry. That's okay, you gotta wait for public comment. I can't open it up for everyone's comment right now. I will give you opportunity at the public comment. I will say this, that, we kind of talked about this, you guys, and this is a board meeting. I know people are listening in, obviously, but I'm talking to you guys especially. I've encouraged all of us to look at this subject as the assessor's office. Take the name Jane out of it. It has nothing to do with, I've been asked by you guys sometimes, why are you giving this to Jane? It's not a matter of giving it to Jane or not. It's a matter of what's best for the township, what's best for the assessor's office. And I look at it, like I said, and I just don't have an issue with the amount of money, because we're asking her now to pay for these items in her budget. So it doesn't, at first I'm going, oh yeah, that is a lot. I'm saying to myself, let me look at this. But when I really looked at it, it's really not, the assessor's office isn't asking for a lot. So I think moving forward, when Jane's out, not even the assessor any longer, we need to make decisions, I believe, in the best interest of that office, which is in the best interest of the township. So it's not an excessive amount of money that's being asked. We do have an obligation to give the office what the assessor feels that they need, and that's why I'm good with it. You know, it's not, you know, and I'm not saying it's personal. This is just me. It all has to do with the assessor's office and what I think is the best thing. So that's what I'd like to say. So with that being said, we have a motion to accept the budget ordinance, and we have a second. Yes, before we vote, now it's time, Dan, if you'd like to please come up to the mic and public comment for 1 minute concerning this topic only.
Yeah, okay. Well, I wasn't gonna make a public comment, but since I was called out by the assessor, just like a Democrat, say one thing but mean another. She's not gonna call anybody out and make it personal, but then she's gonna accuse me of breaking, violating state statute. I was asked by a trustee to set up a meeting with the assessor at the county, and I did that. I don't know what her worry is about that. If she's doing everything that she's supposed to, she shouldn't care. Somebody else could fill him in that everything's being done right. There's no reason that things need to be shrouded. He obviously doesn't trust her, and he wanted a second opinion, and that's what he got. So I just wanted to make that point.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Any other public comment regarding the township budget?
Could I at least speak in?
Let's continue. Yeah, it's public comment right now. So, any other public comment that we have? Nobody? Okay. So we have a motion to accept the township budget. We have a second. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Yep. Trustee Shepherd?
Yes.
Supervisor Christopoulos?
Yes?
Trustee Dees?
No.
Trustee Oshevsky? I'm going to vote no on the amount. I would like to see it lowered because I've got so many amounts given to me, and from 48, 59, 58, and then 45. It reminded me of someone who goes into, and I'm not badgering anyone, I was responding to what she gave me. And I feel that it's like someone going out there and, oh, I asked for 45, oh, I should have asked for 48, oh, I should raise it to 50, now I want to raise it to 58.
Excuse
Okay,
me, I'm not responsible for all those.
hold on a
A
second.
lot of those came from Dean.
Hold on.
I had nothing to do with it, I didn't even saw them.
Please, order. The motion has been voted down, 2-2 vote. So we have the privilege of sitting here for a little bit, talking about it. If anyone needs to leave, please do. We won't consider, I want you all to stay, but you certainly don't have to. We have a statutorial obligation to pass a budget, so we just need to talk about it.
Well, like,
All right,
what
now-
are you gonna tell us? What, she said she's not responsible for them.
Okay, so, I'm sorry, we're done with public comments. This is now a discussion from the board. And I would like to get us started. Okay?
All right, I'm not here then. Thank you, Dean, thank you, Wes, thank you, Chrissy.
Well, this is unfortunate. I personally think that our assessor does a good job for our township. And it's deeply troubling that a $2,000 raise in her budget when the assessor asks for it is not granted by the Board of Trustees. It's very disappointing. And I think we have an obligation to give and that's where I want to start, I think we have an obligation to give the assessor's office what they're asking for. It's not unreasonable. It is not unreasonable. I mean, if you want to lower the amount, Belinda, are you saying take those IT numbers and just move them over and we'll pay for them anyhow?
Jane just said she was not responsible for all those. She just said that.
For the
So if
different-
she wants to explain what she's looking for,
Well,
then,
you and I have talked a lot about this, and Ralph and Wes individually. We did not violate the Open Meeting Act. We talked individually. We discussed this very much. These line items, here's how it went. And Jane, if you want to stay for my explanation. No, and you,
I have provided numerous, you know this, numerous opportunities for this board. I even offered to have all kinds of different ways of answering their questions.
Yes,
They
you did.
refused. They
Yes.
absolutely refused.
yeah, I agree with you. You said many times to me, and I've encouraged us to reach out to the assessor if you have any questions. So the way I remember it, I just need to hang on because I'm really talking to the board here also. But yeah, go ahead, please do. I'm not trying to be a goof. I just don't want to overtalk you on this.
Go ahead.
Okay, so what ended up taking place was, and I've discussed this with you guys already. Jane and I met at the assessor's office. Jane presented an Excel sheet with numbers on it. I don't have them in front of me, but there are numbers on it. Those numbers was sent to the trustees, and we looked at them. We had individual discussions regarding them. Let me just pull this out real quick. I think I have what the differences are. For example, the first IT license and support was $6,700. We discussed it, thought we had an understanding of why that's important to have. If we're going to expect the assessor's office to pay those out of her budget, she would need that money categorized under her budget. And
Is there a breakdown of that?
there is somewhat of a breakdown that I also sent
Because
you
Canvas
guys.
is what, 3,800? Microsoft is 129. So that's like $4,000 there. So I mean, it's padded to, and last item was 7,700. It's padded 3,700.
Well, I think Pam's could be as high as 5,000. I'm not positive on that. 3,800 to 5,000.
Last year it was 3,800.
Yeah.
Does it float?
I don't know. I don't know the exact amount.
yes,
No,
Jane,
she's
she's
asking
here.
But
if it carries over from last year.
no, it doesn't carry over.
What you're saying?
No, it's got to be paid for again.
Is it 3,800?
Yeah. So here's what was also important to understand about this line item is it's support. So if the assessor's computer crashes, something goes wrong in the assessor's office, the security is in question, the IT is in question, now with these budget line items, Jane has the ability to pick up the phone and call who she wants to call to get it fixed and get it fixed right.
She needs a budget for that.
And that number is unknown. We hope it's zero, you know? So if this line item right now is, let's say, 5,000 accounted for, hard numbers, that leaves $2,700 for the computer crashing, something going wrong, support. Maybe she wants to make a contract with an IT company that they look at things on a monthly basis. I don't know. That's the kind of thing that I don't really concern myself with because that's not my responsibility. That's the assessor's responsibility. And when she says that she needs that, I look and I say, okay, it's about $2,700 above hard numbers. That's not a lot to make sure that she has budget money in there if something goes wrong.
Can I add for reference?
Sure.
When I was looking for the township, it was RWK, just to sign the contract was a $10,000 payment. Yeah, well, plus the fee every month. And then the other company which offered the full 24-hour service or 24/7 service support included was like $2,500 a month. So it's not a whole lot to work with, not for anything, but
So what happens when she hits the limit of 7,700, comes to the board and says, oh, yeah, I just crashed the limit.
Please
She's
make sure you hit
responsible
that.
for-
Do that microphone, will you please?
So what happens when she hits the max of 7,700 and comes to the board and says, hey, listen, I got problems?
Well, then we have to address that if that's the case. That's a hypothetical. We hope it doesn't happen. If I could interject this, the IT hardware is now budgeted for 2,500. The assessor shared with me, and I shared with the trustees, that the computer's very old, and the assessor is hopeful. And Jane, if you want to give some detail, please just raise your hand and let me know. But you said you were going, so I'm doing the best I can through our conversation.
No, I respectfully request, just as I have all month long, that any questions be sent to me in writing, and I will address each and every one. I'll even make it public. I don't care.
Okay, that's good, but for the sake of our discussion now, the IT hardware is at 2,500. A computer costs about $2,000.
or less.
The assessor is hopeful that maybe with the new computer, because that's been bogged down, it's crashed, it's bogged down, it's very old, and it takes a lot of time in the assessor's office to deal with that. Just getting a crashed computer, as we know from the financial audit, is just brutal. So the intention may be that she would get a new computer. So I don't want the responsibility of trying to figure that out. I want the assessor to say what she needs, and she's already told me that she needs a new computer with that. So that's why that line item's 2,500. It's for a new computer. So again, the IT license and support is not only the hard number of about 5,000, it's also for the future security or a problem that may arise where she has to call somebody to take care of it. And then the telecommunications line item is in
Needs an
there as
upgrade.
well. Right now, she has XL broadband in that office. It'd be good to have Comcast, which is much higher, faster service. So again, I don't have an issue with these, because even if, like any budget, the way I look at it is I hope that the assessor doesn't spend all this. And I hope that the township in general doesn't spend all that we have, and we didn't last year, by the way. Personally, I've never been the use your budget or lose your budget. I think that is a recipe for people spending money irresponsibly. So it's okay if people don't spend their budget. Now, if it keeps on, 1 year, 2 years, then you sit and you go, okay, well, maybe this isn't needed, maybe we could lower it down. Even like Tim mentioned, referenced something like that. And I understand that. But just because you don't use it, you can't pull it, because otherwise people are going to just spend it then. Oh, we better spend it or we're going to lose it.
Well, if she did that, she would have had 7,000 left over from last year, knowing.
But the year before that was only less than 2,000.
Yeah, but-
So it's not,
She had 7,000 left over. She
Right.
could have planned ahead, said, hey, man, I got this computer that's going to crap out anytime. Why don't I take the money? She came to us and said, hey, why don't I just take the 2,000 and buy it now, and then I'll have it for tomorrow.
I would like to address that. This is due to.
Okay, go ahead.
This is
Oh, no, you
all
wanna
this
talk, no?
leftover money. All this leftover money that you keep attacking me about was due to poor accounting practices. I never received a proper reconciliation until the fiscal year had ended. That was due to the same thing being explained earlier today. There was no, so I don't know what you guys were approving every month with financials. You're approving the board with the financials every single month. You're signing off and you're voting for them. But at the end of the day, all the financials were inaccurate for the entire fiscal year. I had no idea what my reconciliation was, my exact dollar amounts, until after the fiscal year ended.
Okay, thank you, Jane.
Okay. Well,
All
on
right.
that note,
Go ahead.
don't you normally have a budget, starts out at 28,100, and you just do a drop down? So I used 2,000 this month, take that off, and then you have 26,100, like budget, we budget.
So let me, yeah, so let me just address, again, the bottom line is, not much has changed. That's what keeps going into my head. Not much has changed. It's the same budget. The assessor's office didn't even, they didn't ask for anything else above those, the original line items are virtually the same. It's just the additional line items that are kicking it way up there. And I understand your point, Ralph, regarding that. You and I have talked about it. But that's exactly what I don't want to be involved in. I don't want to be involved in the assessor having to call me or any of the trustees and start talking about her computer needs. That's her responsibility. Let's give her the money that she needs to address those issues. $2,000, $2,500, it's money, but it's money that's well spent on having a sound system for the assessor. So I don't want her coming back and forth at us with that. I really don't. It's not the way it should go.
And
That's how I see it. That's why, again, sake of being redundant, I don't have a problem with this because it's not a boatload of money more than it was last year.
can I
And
add?
she says that she needs this staff. It's the quad year, so
We are not questioning the staff amount. We are not, I am not questioning the
That's-
staff
well,
amount.
it was questioned before.
It was.
Originally, the 12.6 was questioned, originally, the 12.6 and having that money left over.
Yeah, you're worried about the
But we
extra money.
actually, Jean, at your request, met with the lawyer, and we told the lawyer,
At my request, you met with the lawyer.
that's right.
Yeah.
We did a Zoom, Ralph and I did a Zoom meeting at your request. And we told that lawyer, we have no problem with giving her the 12.6 that was supposed to be reviewed. We went along with that.
It was reviewed.
Yeah, we already gave it.
We
to you.
reviewed it.
We didn't vote on it?
No,
The
we-
additional
well,
12.6,
that's what we're
so
doing
you
now. We
reviewed
didn't vote
you
on
Put
it.
it in there. You have said you,
well-
but it was still questioned.
Right, and you didn't want it. I was
No.
asked to bring it down to 15,500.
We said, if you're going to put all this other money in there, then give her a balance. So like if you, let's say you gave her, you got a 45 here, you
That's
had
50.
48,000. Let's say if you gave her the first one, we had 48,000, and who cares? I don't care where she puts her money. And if you're the one who's doing it, then she's saying it's not her.
Where do you want to
She
take that
didn't do
extra $2,000 from? If you want to say, if you're going to say 48, where are you going to take it out of? Because we just went through the numbers. She needs the IT license and support. She needs the hardware and she needs the telecommunications.
And it
So,
was 4,000.
so do you want to
for-
take it out of staff? Because you said that you were good
No,
with staff.
No, I'm good with staff.
So
So
where's it coming from?
if it's 4,000 for Pam's, you have 2,700 left, right?
Yeah,
You
that's,
have office and
that-
field supply, 36.
I just told you that the one IT company was charging about
Okay, then take it
$27,000 a
from
month.
somewhere else.
Well, I'm saying she needs that 27, right?
Okay, if that's what you're saying, then
That's
she's got
her
other
budget to
line
work
items.
with. If
She's
she
got
go,
other line
if,
items.
if she doesn't use the 2,700 because she has no IT problems this year, which I doubt, like, then she'll have 2,700 left over. And that,
All of our social security, that's all sites.
yeah,
Driver's tax is huge.
she needs it bad.
I don't know why you would be throwing over $2,000 or $12,000.
All right, well,
It's
thanks.
just the
Hold on one
budget.
second.
Right.
Yeah, thank you, but I'm sorry I could cut you off, but,
No,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the truth. I mean, that's honestly not that much to work with. And when she buys the hardware, next year, if she wants to move it to the license and support, if she needs more, or next year we say, oh, you had all this extra money, we can't go off of 1 year of having extra money when that's the same year we gave her extra money, So I don't like to even acknowledge 8,000 extra because we gave it to her that year. And she did technically tap into some of it. She didn't use all of it because of the points that Dean made earlier about staffing issues, but I think in the next year or two, if she still has $8,000 left over the next 2 years, yeah, then we should have this,
Yeah.
be scrutinizing this, but
Yeah, and keep in mind that the total budget of the township is not in question. That is a static number. That doesn't change. What we're talking about is where we're allocating this money.
Right.
And the vast majority of the raise in the assessor's line items have to do with new line items that she's now responsible to pay for and to make the call on who she wants. So again, if this was raising our total township budget, you know, it would be a different question to me. But it's not. And it seems to me that we're looking at our township budget and these other line items, it seems like we have adequate money to fund the business of the township. And so the assessor asks for a certain amount of money. I respect the office. I respect Jane. I respect her ability to know what she needs. And now I'm even asking her to be responsible for those needs. So don't call us if you have a security issue. That's what Jane would be doing. So I was really actually pretty excited about the budget request because I didn't feel like the assessor asked for a lot of money extra at all.
I mean, I hope not anymore if we pass this thing.
So, you know, I am asking you guys to pass it. I mean, I really am because I think it's a reasonable request.
See, point of order. I believe you need a motion to reconsider from one of the noble before you can have this discussion.
Okay, let me see what this says here. Supervisor Christofelis asks for a motion of reconsideration.
That's from one of the nobles.
Yeah, a failed motion. Yeah, well, we're still discussing right now.
You can't discuss until you get a motion to reconsider from the noble.
We've been
Then you have
discussing.
to pass the motion to reconsider, and then it's
What took you so long? Okay, so, yeah, I've never had this happen,
So
so
one of the
thank you.
nobles needs to make a motion to reconsider. Be
Okay.
seconded, passed, then you can have your discussion, which is your.
Woo.
But the discussion right now is out of order.
Okay, I could live with that.
Actually, it says it.
So unless one of the nobles wants to reconsider, you can't reconsider.
Okay, so I'll ask for a do you understand it that way?
Linda, would you like to reconsider?
If it's Robert's Rules of Order, that's one thing. Is it a statute? Is it what needs to be done? We've never voted on Robert's Rules of Order.
It was denied.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion.
I'll go
to
along with it, though, that's fine, but we're not
We have a
locked into the
motion.
Robert rule. Motion's been made to reconsider
Wait,
the
wait, wait.
failed motion.
No. I'll make a motion to reconsider. And Jane, what is an amount of one of, wait, I have a question. I'll make a motion to reconsider a different amount.
So that needs a second and a vote.
Wait, wait,
Can I
wait, can
second
I
it?
finish, Mike, please?
Part of the term, you consider.
To consider $48,000. And if there's a problem, Jane knows that she can come back to the board and talk to the board about it. Yeah, do you have a second? Anybody?
Can I second it?
Yes.
I'll second.
Okay, the motion's been made by trustee Belinda to lower the total budget amount to $48,000.
I don't,
It has been seconded by Wes. Can we have a roll call, please?
this is just to
No,
discuss
this
it.
is just a discussion.
This is what?
Just to discuss it.
Oh, just to discuss it.
Yeah, we
Oh,
have
I'm
to
sorry,
vote.
I didn't understand it that way. This is just so we could discuss this motion. Okay, fair enough. Go ahead. You want to restate your motion for the record, please?
Make a motion. I'll make a motion to consider $48,000 for the assessor's budget versus the $50,900. And at that time, if the assessor, I would say to take it out of the padded $2,700.
We didn't get a vote, guys. We gotta get a
Wait.
vote real quick. To have the discussion. He's saying
But
that
see,
we're out of order.
what I
He
understand
asked
you.
me to.
I know.
Well,
He asked me to.
Hang on, one
read
second,
my motion.
one second.
That's what he asked me.
What I'm hearing though is that you're making a motion to go with 48 instead of 50 and what is going to be taken out of. That's a decision.
Okay, go
You
ahead.
want to make a motion, correct me if I'm wrong, to discuss the
Yes.
48,000. Please use the word discussion if we want that, okay?
So you know what the motion is.
Okay, so the motion is to
Yeah.
lower the assessors, the motion is to discuss
Yes.
lowering the,
Taking the budget that was presented to us for 48,000.
okay.
We were presented with 4 budgets.
Okay, so Mike, hang on one second. All right, let's talk about the 48,000. We're going to discuss this as a board. So, yeah, this is a discussion, that's all it is. We made a motion,
Did we get a second and did we vote on it?
We just
To
need vote.
discuss
Can we
this.
just vote on the discussion?
yeah,
Can we just do that, vote?
consider,
Yes,
yeah, motion to
reconsider.
reconsider the budget. Are you willing to do
You know what
that,
we're
Linda?
talking about. Yes, just.
Okay, motion's been made to reconsider the budget. Second by
I'll second.
Wes.
And I vote yay.
Roll call vote,
I'm kidding,
please.
I'm kidding, I'm kidding. I'm-
Roll call vote.
Trustee Trustee,
Yes.
Trustee Shepherd,
Yes.
Trustee Dees,
Yes.
Supervisor Chrisopoulos.
Yes. Okay, so let's discuss the budget
All right.
from 50 to 48,000, like you want to do, right? Belinda, is that what you're asking for?
That was what the motion was.
Okay. Well, so let's talk about it. What would you like to say about it? I mean,
Why 48? Where are you getting that number?
It was one
It was just one of the.
one of the proposals that we were giving. The comment that Jane made up here, that those
this is
were
a
not.
board discussion,
This is
remember.
board
We're not
discussion,
talking
but
to-
the comment, Dean, I have never badgered her, never.
That's okay, I'm not saying you did.
And when I talk to you about it, I don't do that either. I talk about the assessor's office. So, the question that she said these were not her budgets. Where did they come from?
I
presented.
already talked about that. What happened was, we came up with, the assessor gave me a budget, I sent it to the trustees. At a later date, the assessor looked at her needs, contacted me through, I think we all got the email at that point, and some of these numbers were raised, and that's when I got cut off unintentionally, but it raised. One of the raise was $6,700 for the IT support, license and support went from $6,700 to $7,700. So the assessor asked for 1,000 more. The other item, trying to recall, I think that may have been it. That may have been the only difference, other than the assessor did request additional staff money. And Jane and I briefly spoke about that, and I said I am personally comfortable with 28.1, nothing more than that for this fiscal year.
And why do you like 48,000 instead of 50?
I'm just looking at the 77,000 for IT license and support, that's all.
77.
But why would you
77,000.
why are you voting in favor of 48? Why are you suggesting?
Because it was one
Just
of the
because it was one of the
proposals.
options? But
Well, we
like the budget, when you're
reconsidered.
discussing a budget, it changes,
Yeah.
right? It might fluctuate. The first draft's not gonna look like the final.
That's correct,
Right.
that is correct.
So I'm just wondering why 48 over 50?
So are you suggesting taking the IT license support down to 5,700 to make up that difference?
It's $2,000, right?
Correct, yes.
Yeah. Because you said, Wes, you're padding it with $2,700.
No, that is that you'd be taking that away. You'd be taking away the 27. If we lowered it,
2,000.
yeah, or 2,000, whatever. So then she'd only have $700 to work with if she needed to go to IT. That would get her 2.5 hours of consulting.
Yeah.
for cyber, for any kind of IT support.
Yeah, it includes cybersecurity.
It's about
It
$200 an
includes-
hour.
Yeah.
Okay,
you
what
call.
about office and field supply, $3,600? Office and field supply, was that the amount last time? Last year?
We're talking about $2,000 here.
I know.
Okay, training, it was 1,500 on this I found the $48,000 budget. It was training, 1,500. We now have 2 people we have to train,
May I point out something,
2,500.
please? Statutorily, and I mentioned this before, the board has no, you have the authority to approve or disapprove the budget. You have no authority whatsoever to dabble into the assessment operations. In other words, when you're nitpicking all these little things,
Hold on one
you
second.
have no authority there.
Yeah. Thank you, Jane, and we do understand that. But in order to come up and vote on a budget number, we do need the understanding of what's going to go into it. So we're talking about $2,000 going from 50 to 48, and to take it from one of 9 line items that's under the assessor's budget with those 4 new ones. She originally had 5 line items, and now we added 4 more. With all due respect, and I say this with all due respect, and you know that, I'm not looking to battle on this, but to me, the 2,000, it's best to keep it in the budget so that the assessor has room to breathe on this stuff. Just like we want that in our budget. And it gives us the ability to change line items if we're low on one and high on another. Same thing with the road commissioner's budget. We all hope that we have money left over. I hope Jane has money left over on this. So again, I just think it's important to support the assessor's office and respect the assessor's needs on this. And as a trustee, board of trustees, we give her what she's asking for. I mean, whether or not I agree personally with every dot and tittle doesn't matter to me that much. What matters is what Jane, as the assessor, is asking us to do. I want to respect that. It's not a lot. I mean, she's not asking for a $50,000 raise here. It's basic. It's a couple $1,000s plus the new line items. That's all it is. So I don't want to vote against that. I want to support and work with the assessor's office.
It would be way more expensive to pay if the township had to pay for all of that IT, just to make sure that her office is the one that we all should be concerned with securing IT wise. All of us should care about that.
I respect, Belinda, your opinion on this. I really do. I just think it's important for us as a board of trustees to respect what the assessor is asking us for, because it's not unreasonable. It's not an unreasonable amount of money that we're talking about giving. It's part of our budget. We funded the line items that we are in charge of, and I want to make sure that the assessor has the funding for her line items.
But she just said she did not make this budget up. Obviously, she didn't want the IT things in her budget. That's what we were told by the lawyer.
Well, when I got wind of that, I called Jane. And I said, Jane, I was told, or I didn't say that. I started out by just asking her, Jane, did you want those line items, those new IT line items and security under your budget? And she said, Dean, we talked about this 100 times. Why are you even asking me this? I said, there's a good reason. She said, yes, of course I want them. I said, yes, thank you, Jane. I said, and when you told me that, I 100% agreed with it, because I do believe it's, again, the assessor's responsibility. It should be under her. So I was in full agreement. So then I turned around, because I was told that our attorney told you that. So I called Attorney Carrie Lynn immediately, and I asked her about that. And she said, Dina, I'm so sorry. She said, I just assumed that the assessor didn't really care about that because she didn't mention it to me. She just was talking to me about the amount of the budget. I said, well, you don't know the background of this. She does concern, she's the one that presented it to me. I happen to 100% agree with it, and I would have suggested the same thing. And so I began to talk to her about it, and then she, because I asked her opinion, she believes that it makes sense to put those line items under there and allow the assessor to have the authority to govern and expend those line items. So that's what happened. It was just a misunderstanding. That's all it was. So the assessor does want them, and I, again, felt it was good. So if that's a stumbling block, that should be taken care of, because she does want them under her. And I don't know, I just don't want to fight over $2,000 with it when I think she needs it. I think she needs that money.
I didn't say anything.
No, yeah.
Listen, us giving her that money too also makes it her responsibility. If we don't, and it falls under our responsibility, and she tells us she needs IT, which she does, and we have to pay for it, or we don't pay for it, then then now we're share the liability of a cyber risk.
Okay.
If something happens.
First of all, we have always paid for her for all the IT stuff. We have never voted against anything that she's asked for, correct? Have you voted against anything? Because I haven't voted against anything.
I don't remember voting on anything regarding it.
No, because it's under our budget, we paid it. There was other things that were under our budget and we paid it,
Okay.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So the only difference you're telling me is you're moving it, but did you inflate those numbers?
No, we didn't have IT, so we weren't really paying it. We had, our only IT was the website, Chris. That's our only real expense besides our internet and all that.
No, we paid
And she
for our
had-
KW and all, anything from the internet, we paid for.
Okay.
Right.
There was times where she had to call, but we're eliminating the channel of her having to call Dean, ask, hey, I'm having this technical problem, can I call RWK? I don't know how much it's gonna cost, but like, she has.
Well, that's
to now
under your
budget for it.
jurisdiction as far as a trustee. You oversee the IT.
Right.
So you would get that same
Well,
phone call, or could
right.
get it.
I'm
We
just
both
saying, she
got
doesn't have
it
to
in
go
the
through us. If she has an IT problem, she has the liberty now, if we pass this budget, to call and determine, do I have enough money to even call? That's up to her, you know? I don't see why that's a problem,
Well, in
or not a better
comments
solution.
is, we don't have the statutorial right to control the operation of the assessor.
Exactly.
So therefore, I think it's not only consistent with the statute, but it's also, again, consistent with good business practice, that the person that is in charge of keeping the office efficient should have line items under her budget that she could access at her discretion. We're not supposed to have that control. And if she has to continually come back to us, if she needs a computer or something like that, we have to deal with it, we have to, okay it. That's a form of control that I don't really want to see us have.
Okay, on this clarification regarding trustee oversight, the trustee approves monthly bills, this is from Jay. The trustee approves monthly bills and fiscal reports. Because the board voted to approve these fiscal reports through FY 25-26, the assessor reasonably relies on the assumption that the board has reviewed and validated the finances before approval each month since May 2025. We look at these bills and we have not pulled any bill, and we've approved every single bill, even looking at them.
Yeah, and you know what, I could agree with that, but that's, with all due respect, none of this is the point. It doesn't matter if Jane stepped out of line in what she said or how she thought about something, nor does it matter with us. What matters is what is the best thing to do for the township and the assessor's office. And again, that's why it's a simple decision for me, because it's very narrow. The assessor asks for it, it's not unreasonable, she controls those line items, we budget for them, and then we say, we trust you to deal with these line items to keep your office safe and secure. And that's up to her. She's an elected official that has the right to run her office exactly the way she wants to run it.
Then here's where the problem came in. You gave all of us different budgets. And what I heard from Jane is those were not the budgets she wanted, obviously. And then you gave us 4 different budgets, and it was constantly going up, looking like you're going back to the table, back to the table, back to the table. That's the problem I have. It's not with the assessor's budget. It's all of these budgets floating around, going from 45, well, it started out at 41. I remember seeing one for 41, and then going to 50,000. That's the problem I have. So maybe it's how you presented the budget to us, and maybe next year it won't be this way.
Well, here's the thing, if I did it again, I would have had a workshop. And this is kind of like a workshop, and we'd have gutted it out. As you know, because of the Opens Meeting Act, I had to talk individually, and you guys talked individually. We cannot talk to more than one person at a time. So we discussed this. I thought we were on the same page with it. It's not unusual for a budget, especially as sensitive as this, to go through revision after revision after revision. And we came up with a finalized budget. Was it exactly what Jane wanted for staff? Not according to what she asked for the last go-around. And I expressed myself to Jane and said that I'm good with the 28-1. I can't, a week and a half before we're ready to vote on this, it's just too much to look at. I'm just not willing to do it. It just doesn't seem like it's just too much pressure to deal with it. So we had these numbers for a decent amount of time. But again, even if that's the case, even if I screwed up and sent you guys different budget amounts, it all had to do based on our conversations. And then when I thought we had somewhat of an agreement, I would send you a revised budget to look at. That's how we could discuss it. That's the only way we can discuss it and not violate the Open Meeting Act. So I think that's the explanation for all the different budgets. I believe there were more like 3, maybe 4, I don't remember. Few of the line items changed. Really, I remember 2, to be honest. Maybe 3. It depends on how you think about that when I conceded on that staff. Remember? I go, you guys, if the 28-1, maybe I'd vote for the 25 then, because I'm trying to cut the deal and not make this a big issue. And then that took place, and we kept discussing and discussing. And this is the budget in front of us. And so we're talking about $2,000, and I think, again, judging off of what Wes says as the IT person of the township, that we just need to go with it.
Well, then, we're talking $2,000, so that's 50,000 even.
Well, I'm giving rough numbers,
No,
Ralph. I don't know exactly what it is. It's
Well, the rough number is 50,000.
What are you suggesting?
48 plus 2,000.
Well, I guess it's $2,900 then, because you're asking for 48?
I put that number out there so we can have a discussion.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see a good reason to go any less than the 59, which gives $28,100 for staff, $7,700 for IT license and support, which has to do with if something crashes, security. IT hardware, where we already know Jane needs a new computer, for $2,500. Telecommunications for $3,400, appeals for $500, office and field supplies. I believe that line item did go up. But when you're hiring more staff, my sense tells me that's needed. Mileage and travel will be needed with more staff. Training will be needed with more staff. And then Jane actually lowered the other office expense, I believe, from, I think it was $600 or $700 down to $400. So I actually see Jane as being very responsible to really scrutinize this budget and try to work within a very conservative number. So I'm going to ask if you would please consider And I know it's tough once you put
We have
yourself
all-
out there with certain numbers to back off of it. But I think our highest calling is to make a decision on the assessor's office. And it has nothing to do with what Jane said. I think Jane does a good job as our assessor, but that's not even the point. The point is, what does the assessor's office need?
She needs.
She's presented this to us after revision. So I'm asking you guys to just vote on it. Vote it in. I mean, it's just, you know, we've, up to this point, which is interesting, we've had to, you know, we've been like-minded on almost everything. And just speaking openly, I said this to Ralph and Belinda, you too, we're friends, we're co-workers, we're co-trustees, co-board members, and I would hate, pardon me? What? No, come
This
on.
is like the old town budget,
Well, you know, we could be honest about it, but the thing is, I don't want to see this one issue get between us. You know, you see boards out there that are like this no matter what. We see it in our national politics, right? No matter what party says what, the other one's going to say no, no matter what. That would be the worst thing we could do in our local township, is that. So but more importantly than that is even, you know, not more importantly, but equally important to me is that we don't let this budget conversation get in between us, which will filter over into the township. That would be the worst thing we could do. So I'm sorry, I just have a hard time lowering this based on what's being asked. If it was 65,000, I wouldn't vote for it.
maybe 65,000.
Pardon me? What? No, it's not 65,000, it's 50,900. And the staff has stayed the same. The assessor left $7,700 on the table from last year. She's already hired one staff member, I believe, additional staff member.
Basically.
Looking to get more staff so that we can handle the quad year efficiently.
So, listen, if there was 8,000 at the end of this year's budget after approving this, I would be on board with you guys scrutinizing, wondering why but we can't go off of the 1 year. I mean, let's approve this, let's see how she does, and if there's a significant amount left over because it was overshot, then we have that discussion. I mean, this is the first time she's taking on some of these expenses and responsibilities.
What do you think, you guys?
Yeah, can I motion to read?
Yeah, but,
table the-
well, let's still, just a couple more thoughts.
I know, no one's gonna go for this.
So,
You can
Yeah. I'm dying too.
So it's my responsibility as a supervisor and treasurer of the township to work with each individual area of our township, and one of which is the assessor's office. I also work hand in hand with the accountant, with the road commissioner, because I'm the treasurer over the road commissioner as well. And I'm not saying I'm the expert, but I have looked into all this. I've thought through it, and as the treasurer of this township, I think it's a reasonable request. I'm not saying it's a request that you have to 100% agree with, but it's a reasonable request that we should grant. And I'm asking you to vote yes to it.
Based on that, I don't agree with it. I'll vote yes.
Pardon me?
I say, based on that, I don't agree with it, but I'll vote yes.
Okay.
Can I, motion to retable
No, you could make a motion to accept the budget.
No, there's a motion on the table right now.
Oh, what's the motion?
There was a motion.
lost
so
track
we
of
could
it.
discuss.
What's the motion?
No, we already did it, we roll called that, so now there has to be a motion for reconsideration of the budget.
Yeah.
which is-
So we're looking for a motion to reconsideration of the budget as stated, the whole budget. We're not just talking about Jane's here, we're talking about the entire township budget as presented. Township Budget and Appropriation Ordinance 26-001, yes. So we're asking for a motion of reconsideration of the failed budget to pass the Township Budget and Appropriation Ordinance 26-001 as discussed between the board. Do we have a motion for that? Motion by Wes Shepherd. Do we have a second? I'll second it. I'll second, thanks, Ralph. I'll second the motion. We have a motion and a second, and I ask for a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Shepherd.
Yes.
Supervisor Christopoulos.
Yes?
Trustee Dietz.
Yes.
Trustee Olszewski. Yes. Don't do that.
Okay, the motion has been approved and carried. That brings us to the next item on the agenda, which is the reports that we have. We have a road commissioner's report. We've talked a lot. You're welcome to continue with the reports. I thought we did that.
No, we did, that was first.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, me too. I'm dizzy. It's hot up here. It's
Ralph
really
and
hot.
Wes. Ralph made the motion, Wes seconded.
Okay, so Jim, do you have a report?
Right now, we're into mowing the ditches with the crews, and then this is a tough year on the roads with the frost freeze. There's more damage to the roads from that frost freeze than I've seen in the past 6 years. So what I'm trying to do is run 2 crews, mowing crew, and then those guys will also do like ditching. We do a lot of ditch work. And then I got a part-timer that's been around for about 3 or 4 years. He's got the hang of a machine that's a spray patch machine that repairs the tar and chip roads. And then I'm getting another machine for filling potholes, and he's gonna run the 2 summer help kids. So hopefully it all works out good with us. For me, let's see here. We got the bids in for the first round of construction work. Bruns Road, it looks like we're gonna do a section of that from Link's Edge all the way west to where the pavement meets a tar and chip. That'll be a mill and overlay. It's $185,000, give or take a few dollars for that. And then after that, we'll have, we'll need about 5 miles of chip and seal work done, and that'll be about $110,000, which will leave a little bit left over of the, I think it was $340,000 budget, so then it's $72,500 probably, and we'll see where that goes from there. I have Ethan Court for a mill and overlay, which you won't cover that. Beverly Drive is another subdivision that's got some problems on the shoulder that might fit into the category. It's like $34,000. And Pauling Road, where it gave away, that'll either be chip and seal or pavement. And with the bids, it looks like it's gonna be chip and seal. So just to recap, for sure, Pauling Road will be done. Bruns Road will be done from Link's Edge to west of where the tar and chip goes. That's pretty much by, it's about a quarter mile west of Castlegate. And then 2 other points, Palomino Trace. If anybody's familiar with Palomino Trace, it's off of Harlem Avenue. It's a subdivision that's been vacant for probably close to 20 years. Excessive amount of dumping going on there. We're trying to fix this. I'm going to try to see if I can block the road off. There's only 1 house in it, but if you do see anything, just please report it, because it's just getting out of hand. It's just nasty. People are just dumping tree limbs, stumps, paint, anything. It's just like it looks like a garbage dump back there. Last thing is 104th Avenue by Drawley Road. somebody was dumping a large amount, semi-tractor trailers of grease. It's disgusting. One of my guys caught it. We kind of tracked it down. They were doing like on Wednesdays. We kind of just hung out there, found them, called the police, got the police involved. Then we got Will County. Tim, I don't know what department he's from, but he's with Will County. It's been a problem property for a while, and they've sent certified mail to the owner of record. They won't accept the certified mail, so it's to the state's attorney right now. I don't know if it'll stop. It's been a problem piece of property for a while, but again, if you live in the area, you drive down the area, you see something, you see a truck back there, call the police, and for some reason people call me, but that's fine too, because I'll go out there, but the police are the ones that are gonna enforce that. And not to keep it too long, but Tim, I was just thinking about it. I know, people probably think it's a politician, hey, I want to fix your road, but I did get a road bid 4 years after that meeting, and it was like, it's $2,900, $291,000, $360 for your road to be wide and to pave. 2.5 inches of binder, which is not, that's what I do, but like most people do a lot more binder, like Frankfurt and things like that. That's for a country road. That's almost 95% of road construction budget. Last year we had a structure that went down on a different road. It was a 4-foot by 8-foot box culvert that was $70,000, and that was an emergency repair. It's not that I don't want to do these things. It's budget, and the thing is, when I do your road, it's going to have to be in-house mainly. I got to have the guys do it because we can't afford to spend $300,000 in 1 mile of road for 1 year. So it's probably going to be a 2-year process for me to get your road squared away. Anything else? If you want to talk afterwards, we can.
I'm just hoping to cut the ditches.
I
Cut the road.
I
Cut
got
the water
you.
off the road so it doesn't keep heaving with the frost.
Okay. That is all. If anybody has any questions afterwards, I know it went a long ways. I can explain a little bit more about our vehicle situation, how we plow the streets, and why we are in a situation where I call it the failing fleet of trucks when we go out. That's all.
Thank you, Jim.
All right, a lot of talk on the budget tonight, so just let the record show that the collector's office is holding the line at $0. In fact, I think I'm $200 down at the moment, so just giving back to the community.
Okay, trustee Ralph? No report? No. Wes, any report? No? Linda?
No.
My report is just say thanks for the long meeting and you guys waiting here and everything. So I appreciate everyone's attendance. Having completed the business of this evening's meeting, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn. Oh, I'm sorry, public comment. Oh, man, I'm sorry, okay. Oh, okay, you're back. I'm glad you're back, Jane. Okay, so assessor's report, please.
In the first half of this year, the assessor is...
Wait, Jane, could you grab a mic, please?
Thank you. During the first half of this year, which is our township level in assessments, we've accomplished quite a bit. We've had 334 assessment changes. We've added $2,262,094 to new construction, which will go on the 2026 tax roll so far. Our total assessment amount of change, so this is the addition as well up to date, is $5,650,554, which will increase our EAV. Some senior information here. We have 1,428 homes with general homestead exemptions right now, which total 11 million, et cetera. 496 of those homes have senior exemptions, and of those 496 with senior exemptions, we have 139 which have senior low-income freeze exemptions. That's pretty significant. So therefore, we've got 35% of the Green Garden Township homes right now that are owned by seniors over 65. 10% of our total homeowners, this will be given to Chrissy, I'll have the report. 10% of our total homeowners, therefore, are low income seniors with household incomes of under 75,000. Yet we've yet to provide any general assistance funds or senior services. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, you probably just didn't know, but we have expended general assistance, and we are right now, as a matter of fact. Yeah. Yeah, I've actually had, I'm trying to recall, approximately 4 or 5, I think 5 or 6 maybe actually last year. None yet this fiscal year, other than the one that we're working with right now.
Wonderful.
But
Thank you very much.
yeah, I follow up on all of them, and the 4 or 5 or 6, I can't recall, I sent them the information, called them, spoke to them, and they never turned in their application. They have to turn in an application, I have to interview them, all that. So one person did that, and that person is currently a general assistant.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, and then as far as the community services are concerned, we're ready to turn the corner and get some services going. We're not looking to spend a bunch of money, but again, Belinda is spearheading the attack with the veterans, which I think is awesome that we're gonna.
And the bus, we have 36.
And the bus too, yeah, that's on the homepage. We're trying to promote the seniors to, if they need that service, they could sign up on our website and get free bus
I
service.
say services that we pay.
Oh,
The accommodates, yes.
I see, I got you, okay. All right, yeah, public comment, yeah. All right, are we done with the reports though? Belinda, did you have anything? Okay, so this opens it up for public comment. It's a 2-minute public comment. If you please raise your hand, I'll call on you, please, and come up to the front and state your name for the record.
Oh, sorry.
It's been a couple hours.
Sorry.
Can we go, when is your meeting, Tim? We're gonna go to your.
You come visit.
We're gonna go.
Thanks for noting. So it's been a couple hours. My name is Tim Staub, in case you forgot from when we started. A couple little things, minutes. Minutes for April were not on the website. It's listed to be there, but the agenda was there instead, so I would like to request.
You would have seen it. I'll show you.
All right, I would love to know, because the one, March looked different. March was posted. I would like to request that you could include a copy of the minute draft when you issue the next agenda. That would allow the public to be able to know what was discussed the month before, even though it hasn't been voted as official. It could be included with the agenda and highlighted as draft. It is pretty common practice for most boards. So I would love it if you would
So
consider
the
that.
school board does it that way? Explain
do.
that again, what do they do?
So you would issue the minute draft with the agenda in advance of the meeting. And then you would vote for those minutes to make them formal approval. That didn't
Thank you,
really-
Tim.
That wasn't really 2 minutes. It was.
No, you
It
got
was
one.
question
you got
and
one.
answer, though.
Yeah, you
All
got
right.
1 minute, go ahead.
Earlier tonight, trustee Shepherd that said that the township didn't need the money from the road district. If that's true, then please don't levy and tax me to get it. You either need it or you don't, but I paid my taxes to the previous township board because they said they needed it. If you decide that you don't, it's not yours to give to anybody else but the taxpayers who gave it. There's a lot of discussion tonight, an hour plus on $2,000, and there's $900,000 sitting in a fund. I think time is pretty valuable for all of you, but that $900,000 sitting in account is just as valuable. Also was money that I paid to previous township boards that said it was needed, and yet it continues to sit. On the money topic, this has nothing to do with for or against any solar projects, but there was a flyer that went out to township residents that was paid for with township funds. It did include positional language. That is against statute, and I'm curious if those are reviewed by attorneys before they go out.
Okay,
The liability
Is
that
that it?
comes with that is high. If we're looking to leverage a lawsuit against a solar company, that flyer that went out with township funds was opposed to that project. And that's a huge liability for the taxpayers of this township. If that company decides to countersue, in response to a lawsuit. They've got that. So when taxpayer funds are being spent to promote one side, it was pretty centered, but there was oppositional language on there.
Okay, thanks, Tim. Let me just comment on that. Just to assure you 100%, are you talking about the Facebook post?
But I'll fix it, I'll put the agenda in. So when you know, I see what you said where the agenda's at, it's there, and if you go to the bottom and go through the stuff. But I'll switch it, I'll make it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other public comment? Do you have something to say? No? Any other public comment? Yes, Jeff?
Yeah, just as to the solar, there's the implication always that a township cannot oppose anything. This is just simply untrue. The township has a right, but that flyer was to indicate for everyone that there was a meeting. And it was very, very simple, basically, that there was a meeting and that make everyone aware, and the township residents asked for that flyer to go out. So that was to notify everyone. It was not giving a position on solar, but the board had already voted against solar basically here and put a resolution in against solar, as did Wilton Center, which is completely acceptable. Otherwise, apparently, we don't have any right to freedom of speech here in America. Thanks.
Thank you, Jeff. Yes, and just to clarify, I know your understanding of this is that we have a designated area for solar in the township, so we're not against solar in that respect. What we are against is a massive, ridiculously massive amount of solar panels spread out across 3 townships. If you want to know my thoughts, maybe you don't, but you could go on the website and I shared some of my thoughts, and it's in the Vedette newspaper too. And I purposely, did not try to be accusative. It's just my own personal thoughts on it. I think a lot of it, I think this whole solar thing was pushed by politics, certainly partisan politics in my opinion, but I left out partisan, by fear and by money. And it's a shame because there's a lot of people that are going to be affected by this. Yeah. So it's a shame, and I wish your committee well with the residents, that you file that lawsuit and that we support and get people to help pay for those legal costs. But the township is not suing. And I have spoken, by the way, to Rob, not Rob, the Earthrise, why can't I think of his name? Yeah, Rob. I spoke to him. He called me when he read that article, and he was miffed about something, and we had a good conversation, and we had, I explained to him what my thoughts were on it. Sometimes it's hard to put on paper what the conversation really was, because him and I had a conversation prior to that. All right, no other public comments. Thank you all for hanging in there. Thank you for the trustees and all the work that all the officers of the township do. This completes our business for the evening, so I would ask to entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Wes Shepherd to adjourn. Do we have a second? Second by Ralph Dietz. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Approved. Meeting adjourned.
Okay, but nobody can leave, I need you all to sign the budget paper.
Oh, yeah, please, yeah. I don't know. I think it stays here. We should take it out of here. No, we